So
Yeah,
give me
the
one
the
second.
Live
live
streaming is
teacher,
on.
the live streaming is also the problem because you know that some of our subject is related to a politic. So if live stream, yeah, it's not convenient for teacher to teach a teacher.
Today, sorry, I did not open the mic. Today it is sacred day or holy day, Sabbath day. So try not to speak bad about anybody else. Okay, anybody. That's why we can avoid something a bad effect. Yeah, because of politics something. Okay. So can you hear me well?
Yes, teacher, we can hear you
Okay.
well.
So far have you print out the textbook yet of the book of globalization? So you should print out, right? When you print out, you got document to read, easier for you to learn and you practice the exercise. Okay.
Not
So
yet, but I will, teacher.
okay, but have you found, right? Have you found a textbook in a book?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great then. Okay. All right. So now in week two already, so you should got everything, print out document, easier for you to learn and to answer the question to prepare for your exam for midterm. Because week four, week five, you got midterm, right? Now week two already. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to. So last week you learned something about globalization, right? So remember globalization. So what is globalization? Sorry. Last week we learned about global governance. Okay. What is global governance?
It's something like I was absent last week, but for I'm guessing that it's like uh, international non-government, which are like I forgot it.
Okay. The idea like some problem, some issue that happen around the world.
It's UN. It's
Yeah,
like UN, right, teacher?
cannot be solved by a single state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that cannot be solved by the by state alone. So we call like global governance, right? So we need the support from each other, not just the government alone, but individual, citizen, civil society, IGO, we call intergovernmental organization like ASEAN or EU. So we got representative from the government, the United Nations. So that all those, uh, although shareholder or we call stakeholder got involved like, in global governance. Just like the case of COVID-19 nowadays. Is there any single country alone can solve the problem, can deal with the problem with the spread of the COVID-19?
Yes. No, cannot.
No, yeah, not a single country can deal with that, right? So need to collaborate with other country around the world. Okay? So this is need we call global effort or global governance. Yeah. So that's the idea about it. Okay, and now we today we discuss about globalization as well, right? So what is globalization? This one ages of globalization, history of globalization, this different view of globalization, demand for global governance. Okay, so you got the idea like globalization. It bring right, it bring both advantages and disadvantages. They say that what we have, what you wear, what you eat, what you can use, what you are looking at the moment because of the effect of globalization, right? Like you can use, we can communicate here, like Facebook or social media or whatever, like Zoom or Jitsi or e-learning here because of the effect of globalization. Yeah, you got a benefits through that. But the problem is that it also bring the negative impact at the same time. Like the way you use a lot of like internet or use a lot of electricity, use a lot of fuel, use a lot of energy. So they call like pollution or it impact on the environment. Okay, and that problem could lead to many kind of it lead to the disaster like natural disaster. So like drought, flood, frequently, and also like new kind of disease that not easily be treated or not easily be cured. Okay, so that part of that. So new disease, new brand of disease, it kind of the part of the effect of global warming or part of the globalization. It could be like transmitted from uh, human to human because of the international trade, right? International business or international traveler. Okay, so that the new issue called it brings the same right advantages and also disadvantages at the same time. Okay, can you hear me well?
Yeah, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So let's start with discuss with this one. So before we start, I get globalization. You understand. So we got the this one is a globalization signify the interlinkage of diverse society across large geographical area. So understand right the definition here signify the interlinkages of diverse society of different society across a large geographical area, large area. These linkages are here technological, yeah, like we are using now at the moment, Zoom or Jitsi or something. Economic, institutional, cultural, and geopolitical. So all about like globalization. They include in the action of society across the world through trade, finance, right? So we can use ABA, we can buy something online, okay, use MasterCard, yeah, so that trade through finance, enterprise, migration, okay, so people like Cambodian people move to live in the US, to live in Australia or in other country around the world, so we call migration. Culture, so learn each other culture, empire and war. So that we call of globalization as well. So now like we call what trade or war again what again the spread or the epidemic of COVID-19. Right. So to trade the history of globalization, we need to find out the history of globalization. Jeffrey Sack, mean the author of this textbook, describes the one distinct ages of globalization. Different, yeah? Seven different or seven clear ages of globalization. Okay, so the first one, what is it? What is the first one about? Anybody got the idea? What the first one they here refer to? The first age of globalization.
I don't understand the meaning, teacher. I don't know the
Uh,
word.
uh, the
Paleolithic.
maybe the blackbird you don't care about the blackbird, or you may read whatever. It is up to you. The pronunciation is up to you. But some, like some information that go along with, so can tell you something about that age. Even me, I don't know what it's about. Okay, because it may be the name of the author or something, the name of the continent or something. So we don't know. We have no idea. But mainly the name of the author. Okay, of the discovery of the one who find it or research about it, right? But the information that go along with it tell us about okay that
Yeah, yeah,
age
get
of
it.
globalization. Okay, so what is the first age about?
It's about
our the first age well? Any idea? All right. So the first age of globalization refer to what called our prehistory. Prehistory. Our bộ rê bộ what? Mà dưới our bộ rê bộ what? So prehistory, like even before people got later, no letter to write. Okay, no letter to write. But they learn, they educate each other maybe by we call storytelling. They tell a story that impact or that way of teaching, that method of teaching still right influence nowadays. That's why we use like some storytelling for the kid example when they cannot write, when they were so young, for like 3 year old kid or 4 year old kid, they learn. So just storytelling, right? So easy for them to remember. And even we use this way like to teach, especially the old generation, the old people, your grandparent, your great great grandparent use this technique to teach the kid or the young generation about the story, about example the culture, about the location, or to remember the country example. Yeah. So our prehistory, when human was still for ager, yeah, for ager, like at that time maybe like do not have no market yet, right? There were no market for them yet. They just try to exchange each other for food, something. And the second a second age we call Neolithic age, when farming first began. So this one is start, we call farming. But our prehistory so old again, for age still young, like people did not know what to do yet. But here, the second age, farming first began. And the third age of globalization we call equestrian age, when the domestication of the horse and the development of proto-writing enabled long-distance trade and communication. Everyone get the idea? Domestication of the horse.
Yeah, it's
So
mean the third age we have writing, we can write teacher, we have thread, we can write, we have
yeah,
letter, right?
okay, and we have what like they could uh, feed, right? Could feed the domestic horse. It means that they may brought, right? They may have caught the horses from the forest or wild forest, horse from the wild from the forest, and then start to tame them, and then feed them at their district, okay,
Yeah,
near the house.
it's mean that they have a vehicle here. Yeah,
Domestication you have sẵn á, sẵn sẵn mình là cái châm sẵn châm ấy mình là cái chập đàm sẵn, okay. Yeah, domestication of the horse are yeah, you could say that we call use horse for vehicle and development of proto writing. So something with writing, start and communication. And the age four of globalization we call classical age. So this one what we call classical age.
when the kingdom rise, we have kingdom, we
When
have king.
large empires first
Yeah,
emerge. So not kingdom yet, but large empire. Okay, like maybe before even like Angkor Wat period or during the time that they built pyramid, example. So large empire, or in China, uh, example maybe during Qing dynasty when they combine a lot of like country, okay, combine and control a lot of country, 5 country together, and then become Qing, yeah, Qing dynasty, 200 year BC before Christ, Jesus Christ, okay, or Naja period, yeah, when you watch the movie Naja, they were Naja. Uh, Next, we call the ocean age. Okay, what ocean age here? We call the fifth generation of globalization. So when empire were expanded across the ocean and beyond the accustomed ecological zone of the homeland. So what does it mean here? Ocean age.
Uh, for I think that it's explore. They
Right.
explore another land. Yeah, is am I
Right.
right, teacher?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. They have uh, big boat, right, or large ship, like they travel across the continent. Start with the exploring. Okay. So yeah, they could try to find the other sources or try to and then the period that they okay people start to develop, especially the ship from the wooden ship or wooden boat to become metal, right? Metal boat or metal ship. Yeah, and also maybe gun or something start big gun, the big like shell or artillery example, okay, equipped on the boat. Okay, and the sixth generation, what we call industrial age, when a few society led by Great Britain user in the industrial economy. What does it mean here? Industrial age.
Yes, it's mean that they use a engine. They have an engine factory or something like that, teacher.
Mm.
This
Okay,
age.
during this one, like uh, Britain, right, became like superpower. So, like 18th century, especially during we call French colonialism, right? So French colonialism and British colonialism, so rule the world at that time. Okay, industrial. So they could use like train example, start to build train, yeah, train or maybe try to design some plane already, okay, at that period. So called industrialization and Great Britain user in the industrial economy, meaning they control or conquer most part of the world, okay, and especially during French colonialism. So, like the train, right? The rail, we call a railroad or the rail or the train in Cambodia, was established during French colonialism, right? Yeah, the first establishment of railroad in Cambodia, yeah, was established during French colonialism. ផ្លូវដែកបាទផ្លូវដែកស្រុកយើងគឺបង្កើតឡើងសម័យអាណានិគមបារាំងអញ្ចឹងណាចឹងហ្នឹងគឺ industry គេ industrial numbers when yeah nowadays the digital age our own time in which nearly the entire world is instantaneously interconnected by digital data instantaneously like quickly okay quickly interconnected by digital data okay so like we are using at the moment of speaking here. So
Yeah,
you
internet.
yeah yeah digital right and like you use PDF file, PowerPoint, so all are digital. Okay. Okay. So this is some definition and then more detail about that. Next here, so you see here. So this one, so when eight. Okay. Like the first one, like what they count here, 20,000 to 10,000 BC. Perlman,
BC, BC is before Christian, right?
yeah, before Christ, yeah, before Jesus Christ was born. So 20,000 7,000ឆ្នាំទៅណា10000ឆ្នាំណាចាថយមកពី7,000មក10000ឆ្នាំមុនគ្រិស្តសករាជ so human ocean current information and media language and petroglyphic អាហ្នឹងទៅសេលើគេចាលើ xây lửa ấy nữa mà lửa chơ lửa ấy hay học trà nữa. Agriculture, hunting, gathering, or we call stone tool, right? Chẳng chùm nó cáiប្រើ stone, dạng stone age, ยุคสมัยថ្មរីងប្រើថ្មប្រើអីឡើយជាបថៅជាអីហ្នឹង stone weapon bow and arrow មកប្រើចេះប្រើថ្មដល់ដល់ទី2នេះគឺ Neolithic farming នេះគឺអីគេមើល10,000 to 3,000 BC ចឹងពី10000ថយចុះដល់3000ឆ្នាំមុនគ្រិស្តសករាជ primary energy ocean អីគេ information age hieroglyphic បានន័យថាគេមានថាយើងហៅសត្រាណាសត្រាស្លឹករឹតស្អីស្អីបាទតែខ្លះគេប្រើសរសេរលើអានៀបសរសេរលើស្បែកសត្វសរសេរលើអីចឹងបាទ agriculture crops animal and husbandry some annoying background. Okay, could you see slide well clearly?
Yeah,
Okay,
I see, but not. It is a little small, teacher. But it's okay, teacher. Keep going.
uh, small. Okay. Because it's small, that's why it's small. Okay. So from the original, so it's small, but in the PDF file, you may enlarge in the textbook. You may check textbook. Okay. So second here, you want agriculture, crop, animal husbandry. So this one we call brown and copper อันนี้เอายุคสมัยโลหะបាទយុគសម័យលោហិនអញ្ចឹងមុនមុនសម័យថ្មអំលីងទី2យុគសម័យមួយគេប្រើលង្ហិនចេះប្រើលង្ហិនចេះប្រើសំណអីនេះអូខេ brown people អញ្ចឹងពីមុនហ្នឹង governance អភិបាលកិច្ចយុគសម័យទី1អភិបាលកិច្ចនេះលក្ខណៈជា claim ឆ្លងមើល claim លក្ខណៈជាគ្រួសារតកូលនេះតកូលនោះអញ្ចឹងបាទកុលសម្ព័ន្ធឬក៏តកូលបាទហើយយើងមើលរឿងចិនគេថាចឹងចិនវាយគ្នាតាមតកូលហ្នឹងបាទតកូលយ៉ាងតកូលអីយ៉ាងទៅប៉ុន្តែវាពីកុលសម្ព័ន្ធហ្នឹងយើងហៅកុលសម្ព័ន្ធហើយជាតកូលហើយតទៀតកើតជា village ជាភូមិ and the third globalization third age here equestrian horse based state around 3,000 to 10,000 BC ហោះអញ្ចឹងធម្មពលគឺចំនួនគេប្រើសេះអីជាមធ្យោបាយ early writing system stela អញ្ចឹងមានចាប់ដើមមានសំឡេងមានអីហើយ agriculture វាមាន plow មានគល់ចេះប្រើនឹងគល់អីហើយ industry iron wheel cart បាទមានតេះគោអីនៅយុគសម័យលោហៈបាទប្រើដែកប្រើអី horse donkey military សម្រាប់កងទ័ពវិញគេមានអី cavalry មានទ័ពសេះឬទ័ពថ្មើរជើងអញ្ចឹងទៅ
Cavalry,
អភិបាល
teacher.
កិច្ច cavalry យើងហៅទ័ពថ្មើរជើងបាទដល់ណាទ័
Teacher,
ពគេ
cavalry
មាន
nó tộp xe, teacher. Cavalry nó tộp
ទ័ព
xe.
ទ័ពសេះ
Bà
អូខេ
cavalry nó
តែ
tộp xe.
អាច
Chao chao phở
អូ
nó
ខេ
chao
ទ័
chao
ព
chao
សេះ
chao chao khlang bò chao chao cavalry nó.
អូខេ state អភិបាលកិច្ចគឺមាន state បាទមានរដ្ឋកើតជារដ្ឋណាnumber 4 fourth age we call classical imperial governance ចឹងនេះគឺមក imperial អាណាចក្រចក្រពត្តិនិយម so around 1000 BC to uh, 1500 AD ចឹងនេះមកដល់ពី1000ឆ្នាំមក1000មុនគ្រិស្តសករាជហ្នឹង1000ឆ្នាំមុនគ្រិស្តសករាជដល់សតវត្សទី15ហ្នឹង 15th century អញ្ចឹងឲ្យឈ្មោះថាអាណាចក្រឬចក្រពត្តិហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹង primary energy គេមានខ្លះ windmill water wheel គេ windmill ម៉ាស៊ីននេះគេបាទម៉ាស៊ីនដូចម៉ាស៊ីនកិនស្រូវម៉ាស៊ីនដើរដោយថាមពលខ្យល់ water wheel យើងបានមើលហៅរហាត់ទឹក water wheel រហាត់ទឹក ចឹងគេបាចទឹកអីស្រោចដំណាំអីគេប្រើអាហ្នឹងឲ្យវាវិលថាមពលទឹកណាបាទ water wheel information information media, okay, alphabet book, agriculture, large scale, grain trade, industry, engineering infrastructure, transport, horse, road network, and sail, okay. ចឹងមានខ្លះមាន horse មាន road មាន network មាន sail ធ្វើដំណើរតាមផ្លូវទឹកណា and military infantry cavalry gun power មានទ័ពថ្មើរជើងមានអាវុធអីបណ្ដាបណ្ដាណាបាទ and governance អភិបាលកិច្ចគឺ empire ជាអាណាចក្រthe fifth age ចឹង fifth age មានអីខ្លះ
អត់ទល់គ្រូអា state មួយ
okay
empire ហ្នឹងខុសគ្នាត្រង់ណាគ្រូ
state ក៏នៅជារដ្ឋយើងធម្មតាទូដូចបច្ចុប្បន្នហ្នឹងណាបាទប៉ុន្តែ empire វាផ្ដោតលើគេផ្ដោតអាណាចក្រដូចយើងអាណាចក្រអង្គរយើងវាមាននគរចំណុះអីផ្សេងផ្សេងបាទមាននគរចំណុះចឹងឲ្យប្រើ empire បាទវាធំទឹកដីធំទូលាយយ៉ាងក្តោបលើគេហៅអធិពលលើគេហៅ empire បាទណាocean បាទមកដល់ fifth age ណា ocean and global empire អញ្ចឹងគឺយកសម័យដែលគេធ្វើដំណើរតាមមហាសមុទ្រហ្នឹងគឺ1500 to 1800បាទ1500មក1800 primary energy ocean and wind បាទមានថាមពលសមុទ្រ printing press អញ្ចឹងកើតមាន textbook យើងអញ្ចឹងយើងមាន printing press មានបោះពុម្ពកសែតណាសភៅសរសេរជាអក្សរបោះពុម្ពចាប់ដើមមានពីមុនអាចសរសេរដៃសភៅមានតែសរសេរដៃតែដល់នេះគឺ1800អីមានសភៅចាប់ដើមបោះពុម្ពបាទបោះពុម្ព printing press agriculture global trade of crop អញ្ចឹងមាន global trade of crop គឺលំហូរជាមួយពិភពលោកហើយ industry ocean navigation ហ្នឹងគេធ្វើដំណើរតាមចរាចរណ៍តាមសមុទ្រមហាសមុទ្រច្រើន transport train oceanic sail បាទឆ្លងមហាសមុទ្រ military cannon and គេ musket បាទតែកំភ្លើងត្បាល់កំភ្លើងខ្លោងហើយម៉ាត់កណុងធំ
musket ហ្នឹងអាបាញ់មកគាត់ញាត់សេវម្ដងគ្រូ
អូខេ musket ហ្នឹងឯងគេដូចកំភ្លោះអានឹងដាក់ដូចកំភ្លោះហ្នឹងគាត់វាធំ
ហ្នឹងអានោះធ្លាប់
okay global empire the sixth age of globalization industrial production so 18 to 100 2000 giờ này cái pra cái energy fossil fuel coal oil natural gas hydroelectric ចឹងមានន័យខ្លះ fossil fuel គឺប្រេងឥន្ធនៈយើងប្រេងសាំងអីហ្នឹង coal ឈូងថ្ម oil natural gas បាទប្រើ gas and hydro មានថាមពលទឹកបាទយករីអគ្គិសនី hydroelectric information media ដូចយើងមាន telegraph telephone broadcasting agriculture use of chemical fertilizer បាទការប្រើជីគីមីជាដើមindustry steam energy textile and steel បាទអញ្ចឹងមាន tech បាទឧស្សាហកម្មមានវិយន្តនភ័ណ្ឌមានដែកមានចំហាយមានម៉ាស៊ីនបាទ transport steamer railroad military machine gun air tank nuclear space and governance global governance okay so I skip here and seven generation or the seven age so you may know 21st century solar primary mean solar and wind internet artificial intelligence okay and precision agriculture digital network cyber warfare. Cyber warfare.
Use robot teacher. It's mean like that, like drone
No, this one
classroom.
attack each other on internet. Cyber attack. They may use like
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, example, to attack each other. So cyber warfare or steal information, example, steal information, fake information. Yeah. Okay. So same information. Same. This one can make it bigger. Okay. 7-8 of globalization. So you look at here. The red color here we call primary agriculture. The green one here we call secondary industry, and the yellow we call tertiary or service, right? So economy like estimate of employment share by major sector in the 7 ages of globalization. So you look at the first age. So what economy based on? What economy based on for the first age?
No economy teacher. It's stone
No,
tool. Stone tool.
based on what? Agriculture. Yes, stone tool period. Yeah, that one we call stone tool period. But economy here red, right? So mean mainly depend on agriculture, hunting, or agriculture. And the second age we call a brown. Okay, brown age. So economy based on what? Yeah, mostly like 90% agriculture, but five, yeah, around like 3% or 4 or 5% industry and service. And the third age, iron age, so agriculture still about 80, but industry increase, right, to around like maybe 5 or nearly 10, and service also increase. And engineering, like we call classical here, 8 4 here, so it increase. This one maybe during gold period, right? So agriculture 80% for economy, and industry increase like above 10%. So we also reach 10%. And the ocean navigation, the people start to do international trade, travel across the globe. So economy based on agriculture decrease or drop to 65%, right? And industry and tertiary increase nearly uh, 20%. Okay, and industrial age, or we call steam energy. So you look at industry and service increase, right? Like 25%, and agriculture dropped to around like 50%. And now the digital age. So you look at economy, what economy based on?
Service.
Yeah, service, the first one. So around 50% based on service, right? And industry maybe about 20, but agriculture dropped to around like 25 or 27%. Just say like 30% agriculture. So it's really the way people depend on, or economy people uh, depend on agriculture less and less. Okay, that's the information about just a moment. And then we go to this one, history of globalization. So what is said here, Adam Smith? This quote from Farid Zakaria. So you may know him, Farid Zakaria, one of the uh, TV commentator on CNN. Yeah, one of TV commentator on CNN, and very famous as well. So he wrote a few books. He graduated from Harvard University and one of the uh, political analysis analysts on CNN. Yes, see it. Okay. So what he said, if we think of globalization as the increasing movement of people, goods, and capital, it has been at work ever since the first human began migrating out of Africa sometime between 60,000 and 90,000 years ago. Most likely are increasing drought and famine. And for them, we search for new pasture. Okay, so this is the information from Farid Sakir. In the winning millennia, the long process of globalization has continued apace through war and plagues as empire rose, Persian, Roman, Incan, Malay, Mongol, Ottoman. They all expanded trade routes, discovered new frontier, and caused the intermingling of people.
Teacher cannot hear you. Your
Island.
connection is slow.
You're not here.
No, cannot get you.
So, can you hear me now? Better now?
Yeah, 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 it's gone now.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
So you look at Sakri, right? Sakri analyze. So yeah, he said globalization start. Yeah, like the first one start even like when the first human started to migrate from Africa. Where you see some even like nowadays near America. Okay, Venezuela or some country in the we call middle or we call Central America, meaning continent between South America and North America. So those countries, their native came from Africa. Okay, and they said globalization may be the problem, like here, intervening millennia, like 1,000 years. So long process of globalization has continued through war and plague like disease. Okay, so disease, so people start to move out. The point at which modern globalization was born can be dated more precisely, no less uh, luminary than Adam Smith suggested 2 years, 1492 and 1498. So what the 2 year refer to? Yeah, Adam Smith point out two periods, right, that globalization started. One in 1492 and 1490, 98. Okay, so if we compare to during long wait period, the end of like the collapse of Angkor and the collapse of long wait period. In the former, like the first one in the former in 1492, the former Columbus discovered the Americas, right? Christopher Columbus discovered the America, and in the later, mean in 1948, Vasco da Gama. Okay, you may know Vasco da Gama found Europe to Asia by going around Africa, going around Africa. Smith called this the two greater and the more important event recorded in history of mankind. Why? It meant that the global economy had massively expanded, adding millions of new consumer and producer. Hello, what got the idea? This one. So, have you heard about that? 1492 when it happened. He said globalization happened on that year, 1492. Why?
Because the engine that they start the engine, they have engine. Am I right, teacher? Because the Britain
Okay, what
they
else?
invest the engine that use steam.
Whoever want to share idea? Good evening, Venerable Sokong.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay.
Hello,
Venerable
teacher.
want to share yeah, hello, Venerable. Okay. You want to share the idea why Adam Smith point out that so for each Zachary say that globalization started even when the first humans began to migrate, began to move out from Africa to live around the world because of disease or something, or famine or drought. But Zachary point out that Adam Smith point out two periods. The first one, he said that globalization started when here in 1492 and 1498. Yeah, he said that. Why he say like that? This one for 1495, the collapse of Long Way, right? Collapse of Long Way, Barak or Long Way period. Okay, right. So why say that here? 1492 and 1494. The first one referred to when Christopher Columbus discovered the America, mean the North America, okay, North America, mainly North America. And another person, 1498, like 6 years later, Vasco da Gama found out a new road to Asia by going around Africa. Okay, so why you say that?
Oh, it's mean that they explore a lot of new land.
Okay, for that.
Yeah. They and the colonies start. Am I right? Yeah, colonies start in that year, right? Yeah. The British start their colony like France.
At yeah, at that time it not yet. That time not yet in
Oh no,
15th century not yet. But they found out, right? So
they
like
explore a lot of
Christopher
new
Columbus.
land.
Yeah, he traveled. He traveled from Spain, right? From Spain and from friendly Europe, and then he supposed to go to India, but he not arrived at India. He arrived at America. He met like Indian American. That's why he called Red Indian, Red Indian until nowadays. Yeah? The Native American at Texas near Mexico. Okay, that because of the Christopher Columbus. Yeah? So Spanish discover America, and yeah, that but he thought he arrived at India, but another person called Vasco da Gama. So he found a new road to Asia, going around Africa. So he could go to reach he could go to reach up to like China, okay, reach China. So that's why like found a new road about it, just like Silk Road diplomacy. So that the idea of like globalization. So the travel, travel from one space to another. So everything, people move out, trade, whatever, and maybe human trade or, as you say, like colonialism. 1 year, 100 or 200 year later, start with that one, like okay, export of gun, export of everything. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, from for each exactly the same digital age of globalization. So Jahid quote some here. Even as globalization go digital, its traditional form is making new inroads in emerging market, especially in Asia. These emerging markets are opening up rather than closing down to trade. Asia increased its share of world trade between 1990 and 2016 from 24,000 to 34,000, while over the same period, trade went from comprising less than 75% of Asia GDP to over 35%. China's Belt and Road Initiative, a vast infrastructure investment program, offered to countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and even Europe has a mercantilist, perhaps even imperial motivation. But it is still a massive expansion of foreign trade and investment. From 2014 to 2017 alone, China lent some 120 billion dollar for infrastructure project in Belt and Road country. So what his idea about here? What is his achievement about the age of the digital age of globalization from Farid career? Any idea? Any comment?
What do you mean by that, teacher?
What is idea on this slide about like digital age of globalization?
Yeah, according
What
to
he comment? Okay, go ahead.
yeah, it's most talk about the economic, teacher.
Okay, what else?
Yeah, it's mostly talk about the
But the
economic and
about the booming economy where it happened in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, or in America, where
oh,
about booming
it's talk
economy,
about the it's talk about the China. China
yeah,
is
the
economic,
rise
teacher.
of economy, yeah, rise
Yeah,
of economy.
yeah. China split
Okay, so
its
uh,
power to
okay,
yeah, yeah.
so here observation or notice here, he found out like okay, emerging market, right? Especially in Asia, okay, emerging market, yeah, in Asia, emerging market. Look at Asia increased share of world trade between 1990 and 2016, right, from 24% to 34%. Okay, so increased 10% based on his analysis, uh, 1990 and 2016. Okay, China Belt Road Initiative. Okay, so we read about that as well. One infrastructure investment program offered to country in Asia, Africa, Latin America, okay, and even Europe. Yeah. And like between 2014 and 17 alone, China lent around 120 billion dollars for infrastructure projects in Belt and Road countries. Okay, Nick. Nick, the deep current today, globalization make it very different from previous version. So investment flow around the world. Goods are manufactured in one set country and then market sold and serviced in another. Sometimes a product move 5 or 6 times back and forth across countries. Information zips instantly around the world. Underneath all this is the ceaseless movement of people, 5 million international students, 270 million migrants, 1.5 million tourist trips each year. You know, like ceaseless movement of people, mean stopless. So the idea like stopless, mean non-stop, sorry, non-stop movement of people, 5 million international. Yeah, but COVID-19 stopped this one. Can this all be reversed? Perhaps the rate of increase will slow and pull back modestly, but there are so many structural forces pushing globalization forward that a full-scale reversal would require massive and winning with huge consequences. It is worth remembering that it did and win one before in the modern history, and it can happen again. The last green area of global integration was in the early years of the 21st century. So what the next slide said. What undermined the later great age of globalization was not economic or technological backlash, but politics of the oldest kind, real politics. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhythms. Go the saying. And while we are lying in a new age of globalization and technological change, we are seeing the return of one of the oldest stories in international relations, the rise of the new great power and the unease. This create the existing hegemon. Had each real politic might be backed with the rise of China and the intensifying great power competition between it and the United States, the two largest economy on the planet. One can confidently say that given the levels of interdependence between the two countries, sustained conflict would be wrenching, costly, and ultimately, for every citizen of both countries, hugely counterproductive. But as not more Engel discovered, that does not mean it won't happen. In short, globalization isn't dead, but we could kill it. Okay, so what he mean here in this slide? Want to share idea?
No idea to share, teacher.
No idea. Why?
Yeah, yeah.
So what you understanding then from this slide? What is it?
It's what I'm understand is mean that you know that history is doesn't repeat itself, but it's the realm is mean that teacher. It mean that in history we still repeat the same mistake, like we still have created the war, like something destroy ourselves. It's something like that, teacher.
Mm, okay, yeah, got it. Right. So you say like history doesn't repeat itself, right? But in rhythm, like it's similar, right? Like conflict, and especially when the new rising power, when the new power, yeah, start to rise, then it cause a conflict with the existing one, right? With the existing superpower, or we call hegemon. So that the conflict may happen, especially in the case of the US and China. Okay, okay, or US and China. So that's the idea what he raised the point, and he said, not more Norman Angel said, globalization isn't dead, but we could kill it. Okay, so globalization it bring everything, right? Both advantages and disadvantages, like disease. Uh, it bring trade, clothes, or whatever, but it also bring like you know nowadays, okay, COVID-19 is spread that runs through the international traveler or trader business, international traders that bring along with the disease. Okay. Okay. Next slide. First say here, geographical condition refer to climate, biodiversity, disease burden, example. Incision they refer to like culture, law, economic, organization, or politics, technological and know-how, agriculture, mining, industry, information, education, science and military, and public administration. So that what we call geography, technological, and technology and institution. Okay, so here what it say, Eurasia share of world product first century, right? First century to 2008. So this one just the idea, just information. From Joseph Nye. Joseph Nye, one of the famous author, the book he wrote about soft power. So like soft power, hard power, smart power. We read and get the idea from his book. Okay. So this one from book Also like useful book, also like traditional here, government and society, government two, society two, and contemporary, government one, society, link or have relationship with government two and society two. Spectrum from realism to complex interdependent, like you said. Example, US and China. So US and China want move back to like the case of realism, like East Island Syria, India and Pakistan, US and Canada, complex interdependent, France and Germany. So before like they were enemy, were the competitor, but now they collaborate. But East Island Syria moved to realism. Okay, everyone get a point here. Hello, still there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. Next one. Diffusion of governance in the 21st century. So here we call private, public, and third sector. So supranational, national, subnational. So supranational, they refer to private, refer to like IBM share transnational corporation company, this one. And public, UN, WTO, third sector, uh, non-governmental organization, a committee or Red Cross, example, Greenpeace. Okay, so this is just some idea about governance. Next definition of globalization from Joseph Mao and David Welch. So globalization refers what? Defined as the worldwide networks of interdependent does not imply either universally or equity. Fewer than half of the people in the world use the internet. Almost a third of Africans do not have access to telephone. The gap between the world rich and the world poor country continue to widen. A truly globalized world market would mean free flow of goods, people, and capital, and similar interest rates everywhere. So here, what does it mean? What he mean here? Any idea?
No, teacher.
Daron cannot get it. Right. So he said about globalization, right? Fewer than half of the people in the world use internet. You know, fewer mean less than 50% of the world use internet. Okay. So that's the idea about not many people use the internet. Almost third of Africans do not have access to telephone. Right. So still part of the world that do not have telephone to use. A truly globalized world market would mean free flow of goods, people, and capital, and interest rate everywhere. Yeah. Okay, so we move to the next one. Just at nine, types of globalization. So we identify here what are the types of globalization. Okay, you may read for a while to get the idea what are the types of globalization, and then we discuss.
Hello, teacher.
Okay, hello. I try to answer with Darong got problem in cannot got in. Okay, so look at here. So what he mentioned here, types of globalization. So what are they? One is environmental globalization, right? The oldest form, and the second one, literary globalization. Cho nên chắc tôi sẽ có phiêu bị cắm cho mình cái class. Social or cultural globalization, political globalization, economic globalization, and information, or we call digital globalization. Trongក្រៅគេsẽ có phiêu bị các hàng này và chạy chia hàng này phổ biến. Okay. You see the ties of globalization uh, raised by Joseph Nye and David Welch. Okay, so let's move on step by step. What is globalization here by Ming? We got different definition from different authors. Okay, so anyone want to share idea? Hello, Darong. You back? You get back?
Yeah, teacher, I'm back.
Okay,
I have no idea.
good. Uh, hello, Sukong. Hello, Sukong. Sukong, are
Yes,
you
hello
there?
teacher. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So want to share idea? Okay. Here the
No
first
idea,
one.
teacher.
No. Globalization from your current mean. What does mean globalization from current mean from your understanding? So current mean also very famous author, right? The book of international relations. So she wrote the book about essential of international relations. So okay. So want to share idea? What her point of view about globalization? Hello, everyone. You're there.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. You want to take a quick break, or and then we come back, or continue?
No, for I don't know, but for
And
me, and I want to continue, and we can uh leave early, teacher. No
break
need
early.
break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Take break early. Okay. Early break. Okay. So we can continue then, and then we may take take break
Teacher, about the
early.
globalization, they said they want to integration of politics, economic, and so on. It means it's not possible because it's about sovereignty. Because teacher cannot do that because if they do that, it's effect of the sovereignty of another country. Yes, that's my opinion.
You mean just a moment. This one is say globalization is the process of increasing worldwide integration of politics, economic, social relation, and culture that often appear to undermine state sovereignty. So you don't agree with this one, right? With this idea?
Yes, teacher, because
You,
integrate its effect of sovereignty, another state sovereignty. Teacher. No country
yeah, in the,
want to lose their sovereignty. No
right.
country want
So
to.
here say, if, yeah, yeah, they say here, undermine mean effect, right? Undermine, weaken, yeah, weaken state sovereignty. No one want that, but it already happened. Okay, like organization, UN example, the role of UN, the role of ASEAN, the role of EU. So of course it affects
Yes,
state sovereignty. Yeah, but sometimes they cannot deal with that, right? One country or state alone or leader alone, government alone cannot deal with all issue. So need the support from the other. But of course it impact at the same time. Because I say here the combination of uh, world politics, world economy, social relation, and also like world culture. So of course it undermine, it affect state sovereignty. Even though you want or not, you want or you don't want, it's up to you, but you cannot avoid it, right? So undermine or affect because of globalization. Chẳng cái mà chứ ta sẽ có people bị cám người bị adipol là vì chia adipol là đó là rod atau bertai trong đó dương đóคือจะกอลพิวมีกรรมเอาแล้วយើងជារួយអត់ទីហោថាឥឡូវយើងមើលទាហានសម័យអង្គរគេគ្រប់ធ្វើមកយ៉ាងគ្រប់មកយ៉ាងទាហានណាកងទ័ពណាលើកដៃសាពះដូចមុននេះមានសាពះគ្នាទៀតទេអត់ទេណាធ្វើដៃលើ
yes,
កដៃមកដាក់แล้วប្រឆិតនៅចើមមកយកជើងគុំនេះហើយប្រទេសណាអញ្ចឹងចិនអាមេរិកអង់គ្លេសណាចិនភាសាពីរនេះឥណ្ឌាភាសាពីរនេះដូចគ្នាដែរធ្វើដូចជាអង់គ្លេសដូចជាបារាំងអីយ៉ាងហ្នឹងមិនអញ្ចឹងណាដូចគ្នាទាំងអស់លើកដៃគោរពដាក់នៅចុងចើមហើយយកជើងគុំនេះគោះជើងមួយដុំអញ្ចឹងណាហ្នឹង globalization
là nè,
ឥឡូវយើងមើលកៅអៅ
cho cha thì bao nhiêu là
ឥឡូវ
vay
ដូច
lại
គ្នា
được không?
ណាណាឥឡូវយើងមើលកៅអៅស្លៀកក្បិនទៀតអត់ទេណាមិនអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងហើយរឿងចិនស្លៀកអន្ទេងដៃវែងតេងដៃដល់ឥឡូវមានតែស្លៀកខោឬអីដូចទៀតដែរអញ្ចឹងណាឌីអីចឹងហ្នឹងហៅ globalization អញ្ចឹងវា effect ហើយវា impact ទាំងអស់ចឹងនយោបាយនិងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចឥឡូវ politics ណា politics មានន័យគេមិនបោះឆ្នោតរៀបចំអីចឹងដូចគ្នាហ្នឹងបាទ culture គឺនិយាយតាំងពីជំនឿសាសនាទៅរៀបតាំងពីចំណីអាហារតាំងអីទាំងអស់បាទឆ្លងបាទយើងហូបមីហូបអីរបស់គេហ្នឹងណាมันយកវិធីទៅវិញទៅមកឧទាហរណ៍ណាអញ្ចឹងវា effect ឬក៏ undermine ខ្លះតាក់ទង state sovereignty ហើយយើងហាមឲ្យមនុស្សឆ្លងមិនឆ្លងទៅធ្វើការនោះគឺយើងទៅធ្វើការគេទៅធ្វើការនៅយើងហើយយើងធ្វើការនៅគេnóដូចគ្នាដែរហើយយើងមនុស្សចេញដំណើរចេញពីប្រទេសមួយទៅធ្វើការប្រទេសមួយខ្លះផងណាវាប៉ះពាល់កិត្តិយសប្រទេសមួយណាបាទมันប៉ះពាល់ដល់អ្នកដឹកនាំទេប៉ុន្តែជារួយអត់កើតដដែលណាបើកងទ័ពវិញឧទាហរណ៍កងទ័ពគាត់ទៅរក្សាសន្តិភាពអីចឹងគឺដើម្បីបានចំណូលបានអីដូចគ្នា high earn higher salary អញ្ចឹងធម្មតាវា it bring both opportunity and threat to the state sovereignty. Cannot avoid because of globalization. Okay, next. In its contemporary form, globalization has linked economic market, culture, people, and state to an unprecedented degree. So you know, right, why people live with A, okay, not mistake, okay? Is it mistake? People with A here? Is it a mistake, spelling mistake or spelling error or something?
It's mean
Hello,
I think teacher is not mistake. It's like it's talk about a lot of nation. Am I right, teacher? People here.
right? You are right. Okay. A lot of, yeah, a lot of nation, a lot of country, right? So globalization is link, okay? It link market. So many market is it with many culture, many nation, many state, to an unprecedented. Mean never happened before. Okay, so unprecedented and planned. This is saying to improvement in transportation and communication that speed the movement of idea, goods, new capital like money, technology, and people, and to the deregulation and privatization of business, finance, and service in many countries. Okay, so why they say the uh, move like the movement have with the movement of people, movement of flow of civil trade. Why? What have what are these with the quick movement of trade of goods of people from one area to another, from one country, from one region to another region around the world? Hello, any idea?
Have no idea with the teacher.
Have no idea, but here the answer already on slide.
Yeah, yeah, that I have no idea because it's right everything. If
Yeah,
I would
it
like I
in the
read,
answer. Okay,
yeah, I read it again,
okay.
so that I say no idea.
Okay. You say saying to, right? Saying to or couldn't now or because of. Saying to improvement in transportation and communication. Thế là sao pin transport and communication. Thế là chui ơi lầm hô tăng khi cũng nít. Cũng nên po min ai mình ni nó cứ chlong lầm bang mà. Hay đừng chịu say cái tiết tại tông business cứ deregulation มันlà cáiសម្រួលខាងច្បាប់ណាខាងច្បាប់ business deregulation វាតកតងច្បាប់បត់តកតងចឹងហ្នឹងគេហៅយើងហៅអីខ្មែរយើង regulation តកតង business mà ច្បាប់ខាង business វាគេកែសម្រួលខាងហ្នឹងអឺគេបញ្ចុះតម្លៃគេទម្លាក់ពន្ធនាំចូលទម្លាក់អីចឹងណាបាទ ហើយនឹង privatization of business finance ហើយនឹងលក្ខណៈជាឯកជននៃខាងអាមេរិកអញ្ចឹងពីមុនមកគឺបែបកុម្មុយនីសអញ្ចឹងកុម្មុយនីសគឺអ្វីៗរបស់រដ្ឋចឹងឥឡូវវាឲ្យឯកជនមានកម្មសិទ្ធិអញ្ចឹងណាចឹងហ្នឹងគឺដែលជំរុញឲ្យ business កើនឡើង free ណាអញ្ចឹងពីមុនមកគឺគ្រួសារមួយអត់មានសិទ្ធិអីរបស់រដ្ឋអស់របស់រួមអស់ណាអូខេ next another definition of globalization from Amartya, from Amiteva Charya and Mari Busan. So famous scholars, okay? Amiteva Charya and Mari Busan in a textbook, The Making of Global International Relation, Origin and Evolution of IO, and uh, city, in its centenary, okay? So what the definition from here? Amateur Jariya and Amateur Jariya, a very famous Indian American scholar, okay, worked for Harvard University, and Marie Buzan, a British scholar of IO, very famous. Globalization generally pointed out away from understanding IO purely as system state and towards seeing it as a system of flow, embodying many types of actor, including states. Okay, so what is said here? System of state, seeing it as a system of flow. Okay, so they refer to is stand away from system of state, but it about system of flow, involve many types of actor, including state. The action of it is to track the increasing link and interdependency between state and peoples on a global scale. The increasing globalization of the world concerns not only in terms of the diffusion of wealth, power, and cultural authority, but also in terms of rising interdependent and shared faiths. Right. So, what is the sum up point of definition about globalization by Amiteo Charia and Barry Busa? Hello, everyone. What is the main point or the main idea about definition on globalization? So you say what you have seen here, everything here about the definition of globalization, right? From very famous like quote or very like uh, different idea from the scholar, famous scholar of IO related to the definition of globalization. Hello.
Yeah, teacher, I'm thinking.
Yeah. What is the main point of this idea about globalization?
Yeah, the main idea is, for me, I think it's the rising interdependent and share fair teacher. It means that they're afraid
Okay.
of, yeah, the country, every country, they think about their interests more than global teacher.
Okay. What else?
Yeah, for me, that's all for me, teacher.
That's all. Okay. For
Yeah.
you, from you. All right. And what about the other? So, Kong. Hello, so Kong.
Yes,
Uh,
teacher.
okay. So, what your understanding or what your idea, your understanding about the concept or the viewpoint of Amiteo Jaya and Bari Buzan on globalization?
I think it is the instead of it to track and inscripting link and independent between state and people on global scale.
Mhm. Okay. So that's the point, right? About like
Yes,
globalization. You refer to the increasing link and interdependency when depend on each other, increase depend on each other between state and people. Okay. Good. How about Nick about Megra? Hello, Megra. Long time no hearing from you. So, any idea? Megra, you there? Oh, lost the connection. Uh, how about Mr. Naren? You want to share idea about globalization?
Yes, my idea is
Hello?
similar to point. Hello, yeah.
Globalization from Amiteo Charya and Mari Busan. So, what their idea about the main point about globalization.
I think he's not here, teacher.
Yeah, he's not paying attention. Okay. Right. In my opinion, the last point, right? Increasing globalization of the world concern not only in terms of the diffusion of wealth. So the wrong you said, the idea on globalization focus on the rising interdependence and the shared fate, right? Or share destiny, share fate, or share destiny. Okay, but the last point you say not just share fate and share or rising interdependence alone, but the diffusion of wealth, power, and cultural authority. Okay, so all combined here. So we call increasing globalization of the world. Diffusion mean about the distribution of wealth, of power, and cultural authority. Okay, so all they cover everything called globalization. Not only but also. So we both blah 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 and okay, both blah blah and. So A and B example. Nick from Granming, Margaret Cairns. The United Nations have faced increasing demand that it provide peacekeeping, peace-building operation, initiate international regulation to halt environmental uh, degradation and alleviate poverty and inequality in the world, promote greater human economic and social well-being, provide humanitarian relief to vaccine, to victims of natural disaster and violence, and protect human rights for various groups. So, what the first bullet point here about? What is the first bullet point about? Any idea? What is the first bullet point about?
What's bully, teacher? I don't understand your question.
The first bullet point, the first,
The first point.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first point. Yeah.
Yeah, the first point is talk about is something like the UN Charter, teacher.
Okay.
The UN Charter
Yeah.
that they want to protect the human right or and have economic with the poor country. They have the poor country and something and provide a peacekeeping to the country that have that there is no peace that have a war or something like that, teacher. It's about UN Charter, teacher.
All right. It about what?
I think a UN Charter that they have.
Lost the connection.
Can you hear me, teacher?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So to sum up, it about issue, right? The really issues. The UN face many increasing demand like issue. Okay. So like peacekeeping, peace building, whatever, right? To how to stop environmental damage, to reduce poverty, cut down poverty, reduce inequality around the world, right? To promote uh, economic and social well-being, promote humanitarian assistance. Okay, so all here about issue, right? Solve the issue, deal with the issue, and then move to the second point. Granming. this demand for global governance, right? So because of there those issue, a lot of issue, okay, a lot of issues, see, peacekeeping, pre-building, environment, poverty reduction, global inequality, yeah, a lot, natural disaster. So all here need global governance, not world government, but need global governance. It means that the participation from many stakeholders, okay, many party, many stakeholders to get involved, not just a single government alone can deal with the issue. Okay, so that's why I say not world government but global governance. There is demand for rules, for norm, for organization structure to manage trend boundary and interdependent problems that state acting alone cannot solve. Okay, so state alone cannot solve the problem like tourism, crime, drugs, environmental degradation, pandemic, and human rights violation. Okay, so uh, pandemic I mean disease, right? This governance demand take the capacity and the willingness of state to commit themselves to international cooperation and the capacity of the UN and other IGO to function effectively. Can they meet this new demand without simply adding more program, or how can the initiative be funded? Okay, next slide. The demand for global governance. So why we need global governance? Can the UN be more effective in coordinating the related activity of various institutions, state and NGO? Hello everyone, get a point here.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay. Can the UN be more effective in coordinating the related activity of various institutions, state and NGO? Can it improve its own management and personal practice? Can it adapt to deal with the changing nature of conflicts and persistent poverty and inequality? So the world face this one, COVID-19, a big problem, poverty and inequality. The more important issue concerning the global economy are discussed and decided outside the UN system. The UN Charter provisions are designed for interstate conflict, yet more conflicts since 1990 have been in intra-state civil war. Many have involved non-state actors such as military, paramilitary group, or terrorist group such as Al Qaeda or the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. On the one hand, and regional IGO collaborating with UN in a mounting various types of peace cooperation and other mounting like increase. The UN membership has grown from 50 to 193 states. So remember the member of UN, how many countries?
193, teacher.
Yeah, 193. Okay. The Security Council has structured to reflect power reality in 1945, not the 21st century. Okay, so get a point here. The Security Council nowadays reflect the power reality in 1945. Yeah? So you see the five permanent superpower, five permanent member of the Security Council, right? That's what it happened because of here in 1945. See the China, Russia, France, Britain, and Great Britain, and the US, yeah, USA. So reflect 1995, not 21st century. And a further update, its membership structure has failed despite wide agreement on the importance of reform. Okay, here. But a global governance, here the question raised the point. So look at country here. China's share of output 17%. How about the US? Look at share of output. Look at this one.
Yes, 19.
Yeah. 19. India 5. Japan 5. Indonesia 2.
Teacher, what share outputs mean?
ต้นเผาอ่าพี่จำ
Canon
นายร่วมจำนายทางต้นเผาอันนี้ทำให้ largest population and output និយាយពីទិន្នផលបាទទិន្នផលអាចនិយាយថាសេដ្ឋកិច្ចក៏បាននិយាយពីសេដ្ឋកិច្ចហ្នឹងក៏ងាយយល់
tên là
បាទ
Paul. Mình đây thằng mình cũng đã sử dụng.
នេះកន្លែងនេះគេបញ្យល់ output share is the simple average of the share of national output measure in world output and US dollar and international dollar អាហ្នឹងនិយាយពី output នេះបាទទិន្នន័យចំណែកនៃទិន្នផលបាទនិយាយពីមជ្ឈមភាគបាទនៃចំណែកnational output មានថាទិន្នផលថ្នាក់ជាតិបាទទិន្នផលយើងធ្វើឲ្យមួយយើងចង់បានផលអញ្ចឹងណាបានផលបានទិន្នផលដាំដំណាំគឺបានទិន្នផលប្រមូលផលទិន្នផលណាកន្លែងយើងនិយាយងាយទៅវាថាជាសេដ្ឋកិច្ចក៏បានដែរណាបាទជាចំណែកមួយនៃសេដ្ឋកិច្ចវិភាគទាននៃសេដ្ឋកិច្ចឬក៏និយាយថាសេដ្ឋកិច្ចចឹងទៅទៅដល់ពិភពលោកហ្នឹងចឹងគឺ US 19 China 17 India ទិន្នផលនៃអ្វីដែលជាផលនៃការផលិតនិយាយចំបាទផលិត
Cha nang lai
ផលិត
GDP
បាទនេះយើងតាមពិតនិយាយពីផលិតដែរបាទ GDP ក៏មួយផ្នែកឬក៏វាតកតងការផលិតបាទផលិតអីមួយទិន្នផលយើងនឹង output ជាទិន្នផលនិយាយពីការផលិតចឹងរួមចំណែកក្នុងការផលិតឬក៏ទិន្នផលដល់ពិភពលោកចឹងយើងមើលមានប្រមាណទេធំហ្នឹង China US India Japan ដូ Brazil ដូច្រើនណាដូ250លានហ្នឹងលើយើង5ប្រទេសនៅអាស៊ីគ្នេយ៍ដីគោកយើងនៅ230លានបាទអាស៊ីគ្នេយ៍ដីគោកមានវៀតណាមឡាវកម្ពុជាថៃភូមាហ្នឹង5ប្រទេសហ្នឹង230លានដូតើស្អែកមិន260អីបាទចឹងសមូស្លីម260មកម៉ាឡេទៀតបាទ30លាន280ទៅឡៅទៅយើងអាស៊ីនៃពីនៅទីនៃអូខេអញ្ចឹងដូ2គេថា 2% of share output បណ្ដាយើងមើល population បាទ population China population share population ពិភពលោកគឺ 18% អាមេរិកមានតែប៉ុន្មានមានតែ 4% 4-5% 100លានជាង
So share of population ហ្នឹងមានន័យថា population របស់ប្រជាជនប្រទេសមួយហ្នឹងមែនគ្រូ
ប្រៀបធៀបទៅនឹងពិភពលោកអានេះនិយាយចំគឺប្រៀបធៀបទៅនឹងពិភពលោកបាទវាថាភាគរយនៃប៉ុណ្ណឹងណាបាទទៅនឹងពិភពលោកមកថាពិភពលោកមានប្រមាណ7,000លានឬក៏7,800លានអញ្ចឹងណាទីហោចឹងនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងមានចិនមួយគឺ 18% 18 ដល់ 9% ព្រោះចំនួនប្រជាជន 1,400លានអញ្ចឹងវាស្មើនឹងជា8 7% នោះនិយាយពីឆ្នាំពិភពលោក តែអាមេរិកវិញមានប្រមាណ4%ជាច្រើនណាស់ច្បាក់ផែនចិនដែរដោយសារ1200លានឯប៉ុនណា1.7%ដូជាជនច្រើនដូ250លានបាទអញ្ចឹងប្រទេសនៅអារ៉ាប់សឹងរកប្រទេសណាដែលមានប្រជាជនច្រើនដូចឥណ្ឌូសឹងអត់បានទេបើគុំគ្នានឹងលើឥណ្ឌូតែបើប្រទេសមួយអត់ដល់ច្រើនឥណ្ឌូប្រជាជនបាទ260អីឥឡូវ260លានយើង Google ទៀតឃើញប្រាស៊ីលក៏ច្រើនដែរបាទគឺបាទហើយយើងមើល share គេមានតែចំណែកនៃសេដ្ឋកិច្ចគឺ2.3 Germany អាល្លឺម៉ង់ប្រជាជនតិច1ចុចហ្នឹងតែភាគរយនៃសេដ្ឋកិច្ចពិភពលោកគួរសមហ្នឹងណាបាទ3ទៅ4%ដែរ Russia 2.5 ប្រជាជនបាន150លានបាទរុស្ស៊ី UK តិចជាងថៃ60លានជាងបាទចំណែកនៃទិន្នផលរួមចំណែកដល់ពិភពលោកច្រើន2.8 2.7អូខេ next អញ្ចឹងដែលជាចំណុចហ្នឹងដែលគេទីឲ្យចង់ផ្លាស់ប្ដូរ UN ណាផ្លាស់ប្ដូរជាពិសេសដូចជាបុគ្គលិកខាងក្រុមប្រឹក្សាសន្តិសុខអីហ្នឹងបាទដោយសាររួមចំណែកច្រើនដែររួមចំណែកដល់ពិភពលោកច្រើនហើយតំណាងឲ្យប្រជាជនច្រើនអញ្ចឹងបានគេតស៊ូមតិថាក្រុមប្រឹក្សាសន្តិសុខបច្ចុប្បន្នគឺវាអត់តំណាងឲ្យសតវត្សទី21ទេគឺតំណាងសតវត្សទី20បាទpropose reform បាទអញ្ចឹងយើងបានរៀននេះគឺតកតង reform គឺចង់ reform គឺ P5 country no longer the decisive forces in geopolitics and no longer the obvious candidate for extraordinary privilege in global governance អញ្ចឹងបាទអញ្ចឹងដោយសារមាន 5 permanent member យើងនឹងសមាជិកអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍របស់ក្រុមប្រឹក្សាសន្តិសុខបាទមានទាំងអស់មានទាំងអស់មាន15អញ្ចឹងបាទ5គឺ permanent ហើយ10ទៀតគឺ non permanent អញ្ចឹងថា5 permanent វា no decisive force in geopolitics អញ្ចឹងគេថានេះគេថា one way to see in table 9.1 which measure the size of the country អញ្ចឹងវាតកតងទំហំប្រទេសអញ្ចឹងវាអត់សមាមាត្រគ្នា of world population and world output. Nation share world output is defined as the simple every two measure. Share output measure in market price. អញ្ចឹងមិនសួរហៅ world output នេះជាអីនេះ measure and market price and share measure in purchasing power. ចាក់ធំនៃការចំណាយឬក៏ប្រាក់ចំណូលណាប៉ុណ្ណឹងចំណាយចំណូលអូខេthe 10 largest country 2008 the 5 permanent member among the largest country 3 of the P5 UK France and Russia are smaller than 5 other countries ចឹងមកគេប្រៀបធៀប UK France ហើយនិង Russia ហ្នឹងគឺវាប្រហែលប្រទេសនេះវា smaller ណាបើវាទូជាងហើយបើប្រៀបធៀបមែនតើវាទូជាងឥណ្ឌាជប៉ុនអាល្លឺម៉ង់ប្រេស៊ីលឥណ្ឌូទៀតណាបើនិយាយពីចំនួនប្រជាជននេះទូជាង and a location of permanent seat ហើយតកតងការបែងចែកអាសនៈអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍នៅ security council ក្រុមប្រឹក្សាសន្តិសុខ represent decision taken in 1945 rather than today reality អញ្ចឹងវាតំណាងឲ្យការសម្រេចចិត្តដែលធ្វើឡើងនៅឆ្នាំ45ជាជាងនៅបច្ចុប្បន្ន2020អីនេះបាទអូខេវិញនៅក្នុងតារាងវិញអញ្ចឹងនេះគេបញ្យល់អូខេ so here propose reform នេះតកតងសំណើសុំកំណែតម្រង់បាទJeffrey Sachs គាត់ធ្វើសំណើនៅsay propose reform 2020 អញ្ចឹងយើងមើលមានប្រទេសខ្លះpermanent យើងមើលតំណាងទ្វីបវិញអញ្ចឹងតំណាង Hello everyone are you there
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So you see the permanent ចឹងគាត់ឲ្យគាត់ចង់ឲ្យ Brazil បានមួយដែរ Brazil បានមកអាសនៈគេដែរអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍បាទព្រោះBrazil បច្ចុប្បន្នអត់ទេយើងដឹងគឺអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍មានតែ5ទេប៉ុន្តែបច្ចុប្បន្នគេកំណែតម្រង់តំណាងឲ្យទ្វីបជា Latin America ហើយនៅ Caribbean Sea មួយណាចឹងអាចមាន Brazil បច្ចុប្បន្នគេថាមានមិន currency 2 revise seed 3បាទអញ្ចឹង rotate មានថាដូរវែងគ្នាមានថាអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍បាទដែលមិនអចិន្ត្រៃយ៍វាមានពីររាប់ដែរមែនក្នុងដំណើរ15ហ្នឹងបាទមាន2ដែលជា non permanent ប៉ុន្តែគេចង់ឲ្យ Brazil មកបាន permanent គេដែរ Eastern Europe អឺរ៉ុបកើតបាទអឺរ៉ុបកើតគឺ currency 2 revise seed 2 Russia permanent ហើយ rotate 1ចឹងរំខាងកើតមានរុស្ស៊ីមួយបាទចឹង rotate មួយAsia Pacific currency 3បាទបច្ចុប្បន្នមាន3ក៏អីមានប្រទេសណាខ្លះមិនដឹងអាស៊ី Pacific ចឹងមាននេះគេដាក់ China India Japan Do ចឹងគេឲ្យឲ្យ revise it បច្ចុប្បន្នក៏អាសនៈមាន3ចឹងគេឲ្យចង់បាន6អាសនៈចឹងក្នុងនោះក៏មានចិនឥណ្ឌាជប៉ុនហើយឥណ្ឌូសម្រាប់ជាជនច្រើនណាចឹងគួរមានអាសនៈជា permanent មួយ permanent seat នៅ UN ជប៉ុនបណ្ដាជប៉ុនចូលឲ្យបានចិនផ្ទាល់រហូតហើយឥណ្ឌាចូលឲ្យបានចិនផ្ទាល់ដែរព្រោះឥណ្ឌា
លោកគ្រូ
ត្រូវគ្នាអូខេ
និយាយសរុបទៅ permanent មាន5ឯណាចូលក៏អត់បានដែរពួក5ហ្នឹងឲ្យអ្នកផ្សេងចូលលោកគ្រូ
ហ្នឹងហើយ
គឺមិនដែលសុកចិត្ត share power ឲ្យគេទេខ្លួនឯងកាន់ power ប៉ុណ្ណឹងឯងដែល share ឲ្យគេ
ហ្នឹងហើយតែវាអត់ចង់ឲ្យបាត់ហើយយ៉ាងទៀតយើងមើលនៅក្នុងតំបន់វាយ៉ាប់ចឹងដូចចិននេះគឺបែកជើងជប៉ុនហ្នឹងឲ្យជប៉ុនចូលឆ្លងគ្រីមលោកជប៉ុនចិនខាងជប៉ុនហើយដល់ឥណ្ឌាចិនគឺអត់ត្រូវគ្នាអញ្ចឹងបែកគ្នាឲ្យចូលរាំងឲ្យចូលប៉ុន្តែបើគេនិយាយពីចំនួនប្រជាជនវាគួរតែមានតំណាងមួយណាតំណាងប្រជាជនច្រើនបើហើយនៅអាហ្វ្រិកវិញគឺនីសេយ៉ាគេចង់នីសេយ៉ាអញ្ចឹងនីសេយ៉ាគេ predict មើលថា100ឆ្នាំទៀតបាទ100ឆ្នាំទៀតនៅអូស្ត្រាលីយើងគឺប្រជាជនច្រើនជាងគេគឺឥណ្ឌាឡើងលើចិនទៀតបាទហើយនៅអាហ្វ្រិកគឺនីសេយ៉ាក៏ឡើងបាទឡើងច្រើនអញ្ចឹងបាទណៃជីរីបាទប្រជាជនកើនច្រើនដែរប៉ុន្តែមិនដឹងថាគេព្យាករត្រូវអត់ណាព្រោះនោះគេព្យាករមុនកូវីដដល់កូវីដអញ្ចឹងនឹងព្យាករត្រូវអត់ថយដល់ប្រទេសជាជនច្រើនណាកូវីដWestern Europe អឺរ៉ុបឡែកចឹងក្នុងហ្នឹងគេមាន another group United States United Kingdom France and Germany ចឹងគេឲ្យចង់ឲ្យលំងចូលដែរចង់ឲ្យលំងបាទអាល្លឺម៉ង់ចង់ចូលដល់ពិតមិនមែនគេចង់ឲ្យចូលអាល្លឺម៉ង់ជួយ UN ឲ្យច្រើនតែចង់ចូលក្នុងហ្នឹងដែរប៉ុន្តែគេមិនឲ្យបាទUK និងបារាំងផ្ទាស់ប៉ុន្តែនិយាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចលេខ1ហ្នឹងបាទសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនៅអឺរ៉ុបអាល្លឺម៉ង់លេខ1នៅអាស៊ីយើងអាចនៅជប៉ុននៅប្រផិតថើមួយចិនហើយបាទគុណភាពនៃទំនិញអីអូខេចឹងសរុបមកគឺគេនេះគេថាបច្ចុប្បន្ន currency នេះគឺ15អាសនៈអញ្ចឹងកំណែតម្រង់វាចង់ឲ្យឡើងដល់21អាសនៈ21 seat ហើយ permanent នេះឡើង11ឯងមិនមែន15ឯងហើយ rotate នេះ10ទៀតទៅបាទអញ្ចឹងវាសរុបទៅវា21បាទ
តែវាអាចកាត់ឡើងលោក
តែនៅវាមិនអាចណាតែប៉ុន្តែគេលើក proposal វាគួរសមមកគេណាបាទសមរម្យអញ្ចឹងឯងបាទគេនិយាយពីចំនួនប្រជាជនបាទណាហើយវាអត់នៅតែអត់ដែរទេ Okay, so here the information about that. Okay, information about the subject. Now let's talk about some demand for global activity. Ch2 global governance multi-play. The demand for global governance has been and will continue to be driven by multiple actors. When we actor in the on the block to global governance to investor state state chẳng hạn or chẳng possible or of strategy or national regional international world.
Teacher cannot hear
While
and
economic
cannot see.
uh, can hear me now,
No, no, cannot
maybe
hear you.
Not clearly.
And the slide also blurred, teacher.
okay. So we get now in the red because the red. Yeah, I see red. Sometimes yellow. So yellow you may not hear well. Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear well now? Yeah, green. So it should be okay now.
Yeah, yes, it's okay now.
Can you hear me clearly? Okay, yeah. Maybe for a while the internet connection. Okay, so he said the demand for global governance, not just the state alone, but many actors in the multiplex world. So maybe not just the Western alone, but non-Western actor, state actor as well, and not just state actor, but also non-state actor. So that's the idea about the demand of global governance. While the normative and domestic political support for multilateralism in some Western nations might be weakened by the crisis or liberal order, including emerging power and transnational civil society actors from the developed and developing worlds, would continue to demand multilateral approaches to critical challenges such as climate change. All right, so to say, right, everything you need normative. Normative is just like ethical ទម្លាប់ឬក៏ក្រមសីលធម៌វាតកតងទៅលើតកតងក្រមសីលធម៌ហ្នឹង normative and domestic political support for ពហុនិយម multilateralism multilateralism in Western nation. But the problem of the some of the crisis or liberal order like the US during Donald Trump and Boris Johnson in democracy in UK. UK left the EU, example, that problem. Okay, next, Amiteo Acharya, he summarized five main features of the notion of multiplex world. So he identified five. I try to highlight the point so it may appear in your quiz or in the question, competency question in the test. So one is said absent of global hegemony like the one that control or control the other. Absent of global hegemony is say similar to US until the early 21st century or Britain in the late 19th century until World War One. So you know right before World War One, the UK ruled the world. Great Britain ruled the world, but after World War One, after World War Two, power decrease and decrease. Second one, proliferation of actor that matter. So feature notion of multiple. So increase of actor. main actor like international, regional body, corporation, social movement, people themselves, non-state actor. The third one, a broader pattern of complex interdependent. So complex interdependent depend on each other for trade, for investment, for production network, for supply chain, for ecology, and for transnational challenges. So that we need to depend each other. So very complex, meaning complicated, meaning link with many countries, not just one, not just two countries alone. And the fourth one, the multi-level governance architecture comprising global, regional, and national and a subnational level, each with formal and informal institution. Okay, and global governance architecture continue for treatment and new form of interaction and cooperation proliferate at global and regional levels. And the last point here, multiple modernity rather than single liberal modernity. Okay, so multiple modernity, not singular liberal modernity, right? So that erase the feature of complex world, absence of global hegemony, proliferation of actors that mirror a broader pattern of complex interdependent, a multi-level governance architecture comprising global and regional and national, and the last one, multiple modernity rather than a singular liberal modernity. Okay, hello everyone, you got the point.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so sum up 5 points. This is too much information from Amitabh Jaya, but I just put information for you. But he explained about the 5 points just a moment. Yeah. Okay, so move to the pro and con of globalization from Joseph Nye, right? So Joseph Nye. So as you know, like globalization bring both advantages and disadvantages. So right the point here, like environmental problem. The first recorded smallpox epidemic began in Egypt in 1350 BC. Cho nênជំងឺkia ở Oxford ấy, smallpox vàកើតឡើងដំបូងគឺនៅអេស៊ីប1300ឆ្នាំមុនគ្រិស្តសករាជ It reached China in 49 AD, Europe after 700, America in 1520 and Australia in 1781. អានេះគេនិយាយពីប្រវត្តិមេរោគណាប្រវត្តិមេរោគណាវាឆ្លងរាលដាលអញ្ចឹងវាតកតងបំរែបំរួលហៅថាសកលពិភពនីយកម្មផ្នែកបរិស្ថានហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងមេរោគនេះកើតឡើងដំបូងគឺថា small pox ឲ្យស្វាយកើតនៅអេស៊ីបបាទជាង1000ឆ្នាំមកដល់ចិនបាទនៅសតវត្សទី1មកដល់អឺរ៉ុបសតវត្សទី7ដល់អាមេរិកសតវត្សទី16អូខេដល់អូស្ត្រាលីសតវត្សទី18ហើយមួយទៀត the bubonic plague and it's a plague is a មេរោគ or we call black death បាទ black death originated in Asia but it spread to Europe in 14th century and killed a fourth to a third of population ជាណាមេរោគមួយអា black death នេះគឺកើតនៅអាស៊ីហើយបានរៀលដល់អឺរ៉ុបនៅសតវត្សទី14ហើយសម្រាប់ជាជននៅអឺរ៉ុបប្រមាណ a third a fourth or a third population 1/4មិនថា25%ទៅ one third 30%បាទនៅអឺរ៉ុបបាទអញ្ចឹងកើតមេរោគសម្រាប់ពួកអឺរ៉ុបច្រើនដែរនៅសតវត្សទី14ឥឡូវកូវីដម្ដងទៀតហ្នឹងបាទអស់ច្រើនដែរនៅអឺរ៉ុបហ្នឹង European carried disease to America in 15th and 16th century and destroyed up to 95% of indigenous population ដល់អឺរ៉ុបវិញ រ៉ុបវិញបាននាំមេរោគមានមនុស្សធ្វើដំណើរទៅយើងមេរោគទៅជាមួយទៅដល់អាហ្វ្រិកទៅដល់អាមេរិកជួយអាមេរិកនៅសតវត្សទី15ហើយទី16ហ្នឹងគឺ destroy សម្រាប់ជនជាតិដើមហ្នឹងគឺអស់95%ច្រើនណាស់ 1918 flu ជំងឺ flu ផ្ដាសាយបក្សី bird flu kill 40 million people around the world អានេះនៅ1918សង្គ្រាមលោកលើកទី1ផ្ទុះអញ្ចឹងbird flu សម្រាប់មនុស្សអស់40លាននាក់ច្រើនណាស់បាទ kill some 40 million ឥឡូវ covid យើងអស់ប៉ុន្មានហើយបាន check មើលបាទអស់មិនទាន់ដល់បាទអស់មិនទាន់ដល់សង្គ្រាមនេះដល់សង្គ្រាមលោកលើកទី1បាទ bird flu សម្រាប់មនុស្ស40លាន
អស់
ឥឡូវទាំងបាន
មិនច្រើនទេលោកគ្រូគាត់តែវាឆ្លងលឿនហ្នឹងក៏វាឆ្លងលឿនហើយវាគាំងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងគ្រាន់ស្លាប់ទៅវាមិនសូវឃើញស្លាប់ខ្លាំងខ្លាដូចពួកសាពួកអីដូចអត់ឃើញស្លាប់ដល់ច្រើនយ៉ាងហ្នឹងគ្រាន់តែវាឆ្លងលឿនឯង
5លានថាខ្ញុំបានមើលបែប5លានឥឡូវបែប5លានប៉ុណ្ណឹងបាទតែនេះអស់40លាន1918កាលហ្នឹងដោយសារវាសង្គ្រាមហ្នឹងទៅសង្គ្រាមលោកអញ្ចឹងមានអីមើលបាទ bird flu 40លានអូខេហើយចូលប្រភេទមេរោគស្អីខ្លះអូខេnext sin HIV/AIDS identified in 1981 kill 39 million ជាង HIV អស់ប៉ុន្មានជិត40លានដែរណា1181ហ្នឹងអស់40លានច្រើនស្ងាត់1.5 million in 2013 load 2013អស់1លានកន្លះ The spread of foreign species flora and fauna to new area have wiped out native species and may result in economic loss of several hundred billion dollars a year អានោះប្រភេទជំងឺផ្សិតហ្នឹងណាកើតជំងឺនោះវាជំងឺផ្សិតវាបោកសម្អាតnative species ជនជាតិដើមបាទឬក៏ពូជសត្វដើមខាតច្រើនស្លាប់ច្រើនអូខេចឹងនេះគឺនិយាយពី advantage of disadvantage of globalization បាទអញ្ចឹងសម្រាប់ហើយនឹងមានបញ្ហាខាងមេរោគអីច្រើនអូខេមួយទៀត for environmental globalization both Europe and Asia benefit from important importation of such new world crops such as potato, corn and tomato and today green revolution agriculture technology have helped poor farmers throughout the world. So this is talk about the benefit, right? Benefit import of new crop like potato, corn and tomato. ចឹងវាមានគុណសម្បត្តិដែរណាទាក់ទង environmental globalization សកលភាវូបនីយកម្មខាងផ្នែកបរិស្ថានចឹងមានពោតមានពេញប៉ោះមានអីដលងអីនោះហូបនោះគឺរសារហ្នឹងដែរប៉ុន្តែនិយាយពីគុណវិបត្តិវិញវាមានច្រើនដែរ military globalization consists of network of interdependent World War 21st century are a case in point during the Cold War the global strategic interdependence between the US and Soviet Union was acute and well recognized. Not only did it produce world trading alliance, but either side could have caused intercontinental missiles to destroy each other. Got a missile nuclear. Okay, ចឹងយើងមើលមួយទៀត migration តើតើ migration ក៏ជាបញ្ហានៃ globalization ហ្នឹងណាបាទ 19th century some 80 million people across the ocean okay far more than in the 18th century ចឹងនៅសតវត្សទី19មនុស្ស80លាននាក់ធ្វើដំណើរឆ្លងប្រទេសបាទតើអ្វីឬក៏ឆ្លងប្រទេសទៅនៅប្រទេសផ្សេងអូខេចឹងជាសាសនានេះតើតើសាសនាវប្បធម៌30 million visitors students inter each country idea are equal important. Four great religion of the world, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, okay, spread across the world. Okay, over 2 million 2 million year. 2000 ឆ្នាំមកឆ្លងទ្វីបសាសនាទាំង4ហ្នឹងអូខេអញ្ចឹងនេះគឺសរុបមកនិយាយពីគុណសម្បត្តិនិងគុណវិបត្តិខាង globalization អញ្ចឹងប្រហែល the last idea about uh, unnecessary and specialized agency បាទអញ្ចឹងមានអង្គការខ្លះមាន WHO គេ Poverty Organization WIPO involving globalization led issue or labor health and intellectual property. The fact that the target of anti-globalization protesters have been the World Bank, IMF, G7, and WTO have underscored the UN marginal role in international economic relations. Yet globalization has fueled the growth of NGO. អញ្ចឹងយើងមើលនិយាយពីនេះគឺ globalization វាជាផ្នែកមួយជំរុញឲ្យនៃការកើនឡើងនៃចំនួន NGO ផងដែរណាបាទ Now the rapid rise of China as well as India, South Africa, and Brazil, and emerging countries we call BRIC. World politics again is shifting. The year ahead will see significant change in how the shift play out with the UN. អញ្ចឹងគេឃើញមើលថាមានថាប្រទេស BRIC នេះ5ប្រទេសនេះសេដ្ឋកិច្ចកើនឡើងអីហ្នឹងបាទអញ្ចឹង5ហ្នឹងគឺជាកីឡាករលេងល្អសម្រាប់ UN ប្រហែលឆ្នាំខាងមុខទៀតហ្នឹងអូខេក្រៅពី super power អញ្ចឹងគេឃើញកីឡាករល្បីៗប្រហែលហ្នឹងបាទហើយ BRIC country ហ្នឹងគឺដូចកីឡាករយ៉ាងមាន Brazil មានអី India South Africa ហ្នឹងបាទចូលរួមគេ call BRIC Okay so our lesson here finished so any question for today
No
don't
question,
have
teacher.
okay all right so if no questions so we may break here so thank you so much for your class attendance today from the beginning until the end. We don't have break, right? But we finish a bit early. Okay, finish earlier. Right? Have you had dinner yet, everyone? Got dinner yet?
Not yet,
For me
teacher.
already, teacher.
Also, I'm starving. I'm starving.
Okay. Okay. So let's enjoy dinner then. Okay. Darong, you haven't got dinner yet. Okay, please
Yes.
enjoy your dinner. Okay.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Thank you so
teacher.
much for class attendance today.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
teacher.
Vulnerable, Sukung, and goodbye, everyone. Okay. Bye. Bye bye.